Lewis Hamilton just drove the new Ferrari. But hidden underneath the car was something no one showed you. For a split second, cameras caught a glimpse of the SF-26's rear diffuser. And what Ferrari's doing back there isn't just bold. It's unlike anything we've seen all year. This new design could make the car unbeatable in corners, or completely unstable at race pace. And the risk they're taking? It nearly caught Hamilton out on lap 1. What you're about to see is the kind of innovation teams don't want you to notice. But if it works, Red Bull won't be ready. Here's block 1, expanding directly from that high-impact hook. Now that we've grabbed attention with the mystery around the diffuser, this block begins pulling the curtain back, layer by layer, but still holding back the full reveal to keep tension building. The moment the Ferrari SF-26 was lifted in the Bahrain pit lane, just for a second, the camera angle shifted. And right there, tucked beneath the rear wing, between the floor and the suspension arms, was something no one expected to see. A brand new rear diffuser design. Sharpened angles, tighter cutouts, aggressive vertical strakes. But here's the part that matters. It's not just a redesign. It's a declaration of intent. Because this new geometry changes the very way the car produces downforce. Ferrari isn't chasing balance. They're chasing pressure. Suction. A controlled collapse of airflow that pulls the car into the tarmac the moment it exits a corner. It's radical. It's fragile. And in the hands of the wrong driver, it can go from genius to disaster. So why risk it? Why build a diffuser this complex for a car that still needs stability? Simple. Because when it works, it gives you time. Tenths. Maybe more. Every lap. But the problem? You only get that time if the car stays perfectly balanced. And on Hamilton's first run, it didn't. Here's block 2, the technical core of the story. This is where we start revealing how the SF-26 diffuser actually works, why it's so risky, and why Ferrari is taking that risk now. To understand why this diffuser matters, you have to understand what it does. Most fans think of a diffuser as just the back end of the floor. But in modern Formula One, it's much more than that. It's the final stage of a ground effects system. The moment where all the air rushing underneath the car is pulled upward, creating a low-pressure zone that sucks the car into the track. Now, here's the key. How aggressively that air expands determines how much grip the car has. Too conservative? You leave downforce on the table. Too aggressive? The flow detaches. The diffuser stalls. And suddenly, you've got no grip at all. Ferrari's new diffuser? It's not playing it safe. They've increased the kick angle, the upward slope at the rear, to extract every possible gram of downforce at corner exit. But to keep that airflow attached, they've added a set of vertical strakes that are closer together than anything we saw on last year's car. That means they're controlling how air expands into the diffuser's central tunnel. In theory, that's genius. It should give more stable airflow, better grip on throttle, and faster acceleration out of every low-speed corner. But in practice, it's like balancing on a razor's edge. Because if ride height changes by just a few millimeters, if curb impact disturbs the floor, if the car flexes too much under load, the whole system collapses. That's exactly what happened to Hamilton. On his third flying lap, he hit the exit curb at turn 10. Not even hard. and the rear stepped out like the floor vanished. Because for a moment, it did. Here's block 3, where we peel back the next layer. How Ferrari is trying to control the chaos created by their extreme diffuser design. Because if they can manage the instability, they're not just fixing a problem, they're turning it into a weapon. So here's the challenge Ferrari set for themselves. Build the most aggressive diffuser in the field. Then stop it from eating itself alive. And the solution? It's hidden just above the diffuser itself. A small, quiet detail. No one mentioned it in the coverage. No one pointed it out in the broadcast. But it's there. And it matters. Look closely at the rear beam wing supports. That vertical brace. The one connecting the suspension to the wing? Now look just beneath it. Tiny, L-shaped airflow fins. Barely visible. Easily missed. But they're not decoration. They're flow stabilizers. Their job? To re-energize the air as it exits the diffuser tunnel. To keep the airflow attached. To guide it upward into the wake of the rear wing. Why does that matter? Because it means the diffuser isn't working alone anymore. It's part of a linked aero system. One that recovers lost flow. When the car flexes, hits a bump, or gets out of shape. In other words, Ferrari's not trying to make the diffuser perfect. They're designing a backup plan. A way to catch the airflow before it detaches completely. It's like building a safety net into the most high-risk part of the car. And it shows how Ferrari is thinking this year. Not just about raw speed. Not just about clean laps. But about risk tolerance. How far can you push a concept before it bites you? And if it does, can you survive it? Because in this era, the fastest car isn't the one that's perfect. It's the one that's fast when it's not. Let's start with Hamilton. Morning session. High fuel. Hot track. From the outside, everything looked calm. But from the onboard, it was clear. He was fighting the rear. Not aggressively. Not out of control. But correcting. Constantly. Tiny steering adjustments mid-corner. Brake pedal modulation. Late throttle pickups. He was feeling for the limit. And not liking where it was. Especially on corner exit. That's where the diffuser is supposed to help. Sucking the car down. Letting him lean on the throttle. But instead, it kept slipping. The car wasn't talking back the way he needed. And for a driver like Hamilton, who builds confidence through rhythm, that's a red flag. Now compare that to Leclerc. Afternoon session. Same chassis. Slightly cooler track. From lap 1, he was attacking the apex. Trail braking later. Picking up throttle earlier. Carrying speed through the rotation. And the rear? Still nervous. But manageable. Leclerc wasn't asking the car to be planted. He was dancing with it. He let the diffuser breathe. Stayed off the exit curbs. Managed right height with his hands and feet. It wasn't just style. It was instinct. And that's the split Ferrari's now facing. Hamilton wants the diffuser to behave. Leclerc wants it to perform. One wants compliance. The other wants freedom. Same car. Same part. Two completely different experiences. And this isn't just a setup question. It's a philosophy problem. Because Ferrari has built a system that gives maximum reward, but only to the driver who trusts its limits. And that trust takes time. Here's block 5, where all the threads start to tighten. Because this is no longer about a diffuser. It's about direction. And Ferrari can't afford to get it wrong. From the outside, it looks like a luxury problem. Two elite drivers. A fast car. Innovative aero. But inside the team, this is a brewing crisis. Because the SF-26 doesn't drive like a neutral platform. It's not polite. It doesn't compromise easily. It either gives you everything, or it takes everything away. And now Ferrari has to make a decision. Do they shape this car to suit the man who's been in red for years? Who knows its quirks? Who can drive around the instability? And who just looked effortless in the afternoon? Or do they shift the project toward Hamilton? A 7-time world champion. A driver whose style demands clarity at the front. A driver who's used to machinery that responds to the tiniest input, without hesitation. Because here's the truth. You can't do both. Not in the time they have. Not with the limited test mileage. Not under the cost cap. Trying to make the SF-26 work for two different philosophies could kill its greatest strength. That aggressive, high-reward diffuser concept. And worse? It might make it unpredictable for both. And this is what no one's saying out loud. If Ferrari gets this balance wrong, if they try to please both drivers, they could end up with a car that's fast in theory, and nowhere in the standings. So the question becomes, who leads this development path? Because it's not just about who's faster in testing. It's about who defines the baseline, whose style becomes the reference, whose instincts shape the upgrades. And today, even though Leclerc looked cleaner, it was Hamilton who was shaping the car. With every complaint, every correction, every push beyond the comfort zone, he was forcing Ferrari to confront the limits of their concept. That's not adaptation. That's leadership. The SF-26 rear diffuser is not just a piece of carbon. It's a message from Ferrari, that they are done playing it safe. No more conservative designs. No more waiting for upgrades. No more finishing second and calling it progress. This diffuser, with its violent kickline, its tight strakes, its aerodynamic risk, is Ferrari saying, we're here to win. Right now. But that kind of innovation doesn't survive without commitment. It needs belief. It needs clarity. It needs a team willing to choose a path and stay on it. And right now, they are staring at two paths. One, led by Leclerc. Comfortable. Familiar. Fast within the car's existing limits. The other? Carved by Hamilton. Uncomfortable. Demanding. But capable of unlocking something no one has seen from Ferrari in a decade. And here's the final truth. This rear diffuser, this whole car philosophy, was built to be tamed. But only by someone willing to take it beyond the edge. To go through the instability, past the unpredictability, into the zone where maximum performance lives. And that's where Hamilton is already going. He's not asking the car to calm down. He's asking it to wake up. Because the difference between winning and just surviving isn't in the diffuser. It's in the one who dares to drive it without fear. So as the cameras pack up, as the day ends in Bahrain, and as the numbers get dissected, just remember, the real battle has already started. And it's happening. Beneath the floor, inside the diffuser, and in the heart of a team that finally has the tools to fight again. Now all that's left is to choose. who they'll trust to lead them into the fire. Because this diffuser won't wait. And neither will Hamilton.